Okay, let's see. My wallet. There's my ticket. I think I'm good to go.
Hey, aren't you forgetting something?
What?
You should wear the mask.
Why?
It's gonna be a packed theater, and you know how you get when you run into Rowan Campbell haters.
Oh, come on. That was one time. Plus, that person deserved it, and you know it.
Wear the fucking mask!
Alright, fine. Jesus Christ. You happy? People call me crazy. Don't worry. There was no incident this time, but I did wear the mask. Welcome, everyone, to our Cool Kids Christmas special. I'm joined once again by my usual suspects. You know who we are. You know how we roll. So let's get into it. Okay, I'm done with that. So, uh, to say that Silent Night is a rough fucking franchise to get through, yeah, that's being nice. This is the first time I have watched all of these movies in succession. But in the interest of this remake, I did rewatch the original, which I love, and the reboot, which is fucking awesome. Fuck you, I'm just kidding. But I love the original. So, but yeah, Silent Night Deadly Night. In context of the remake, I really like the original. It's while it's not a high art slasher, I do like that there is actually a story to it there with building up to exploring Billy's psychology, building up to him snapping, yada yada yada. There is a genuine arc to this movie and I really dig it. The 2012 reboot, it may have little to no connection, but it's fucking fun. And with this one, I was excited for it. It could have starred Rowan Campbell or it could have starred anyone on planet Earth, and I still would have been hyped for it. But I mean, hey, seeing Corey Cunningham on the big screen, I'll take that as a bonus. So I was really excited for this one because as much as I do like the original, I do think there are a lot of different avenues that you can go with a reboot. And did they deliver? We will get into that. So those were my thoughts on the original film and my expectations for the remake. Devin.
Okay, first of all, damn you, Austin, for having The Rock as my thumbnail again. But anyway, since we're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night here, got to do the eyebrows. Know what I mean? But anyway, I don't know if this opinion is going to be controversial or not, but I'm not crazy about the original Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Punish.
I don't hate it, but I don't know. It's just never been one of my favorite slasher movies. I think the same reason why I don't love it as much is kind of the same reason Andy the Nautical Cinephile didn't like it. To look at that poster, you expect a killer Santa or a serial killer, but we just follow this guy for we just follow this guy before he eventually puts on the Santa Claus costume. Like, we know Billy too much, and I'm someone that likes his villains with some mystery. You can give a backstory, but again, we know him too well. And after a while, I felt like that element before we got to the kills just got kind of boring. That's just me. I get why people consider it a slasher classic, but it's not for me. It's no Black Christmas. The sequel, on the other hand, Garbage Day. What? Sure, Doc. It's your dime. It
Who killed
sucked.
your parents?
Santa Claus. It sucked. I mean, most of the movie is just a clip show of the first movie. But Eric Freeman's, his batshit crazy performance and the final, like, the garbage day. That makes it dumb fun, but again, it's boring. I didn't see the third movie, the fourth one, or the fifth one. I actually
You're
didn't
not
hate
missing anything, bub.
Oh, I know I'm not missing anything. I didn't hate the 2012 loose remake, Silent Night. I thought it was fun. It was fun. Sure, it looks like it was, shot in the spring.
But
I still
church. You need to take me to the mall.
but I still enjoyed it. And I still liked how it kind of kept to the killer's, like, motive was similar to Billy's, where it's just like he kills naughty people, and it started when he witnessed a tragic event on Christmas as a kid. So it kind of, in a way, it's kind of similar to that, but not really. But still, I thought it was a lot of fun.
And plus, Malcolm McDowell. Enough said.
Malcolm
Michael.
McDowell.
Malcolm or Michael? I'm sorry. I'm off.
Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell. When I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
But I didn't really have a lot of expectations for the remake. We reviewed Halloween Ends. Everyone knows how much I despise that movie. And that I hated the character of Corey, and I did not like Rowan Campbell's performance. I didn't even like his performance in The Monkey. But I didn't hate him. I don't hate the guy. My belief is, unless the actor is a piece of shit, hate the character all you want, but not the actor. But I was willing to give it a chance, and I was curious, and I was wondering if I would actually like it more than the original, or it's just another shitty remake. I mean, it can't be any worse than both Black Christmas remakes. And but I think we will get to that.
All right. Rob?
All right. So if you watched the last stream that we did with Five Nights at Freddy's, when we were in 2, when we announced what this one was, I've already had made it clear that I did not know jack shit about this franchise. Before this past week, I haven't seen a single Silent Night movie. I had no idea what it was about. Remember, I'm not a horror fanatic like these three,
Shame.
Fuck off.
We're kidding.
Anyway, I don't know. I didn't know shit about it, so I pretty much had to do my homework. So, thoughts on the original film? It was dumb fun, Like, I do agree with Devin. I wouldn't consider it like a Christmas horror classic. In fact, I would still take the original Black Christmas, over this. But I mean, it was still fun, Like, it was just dumb fun, just watching a guy pretty much just snap and go insane, trying to just dress up as Santa Claus, snap, just try to axe off people, I actually did get curious, and I did watch the sequel mainly because I wanted to see the context for the garbage day. I was very curious about it, and half of the movie was just a recap of the first film again. It's like if I wanted to watch the first film again, I'd put on the first film again. Why are you wasting so much time on things that I already knew? Because I just watched the first one recently, or the original recently. So, like, I think the only redeeming thing about that one is just Eric Freeman pretty much hamming it up with his over-the-top performance. I will give it that. That was at least fun. But, I mean, other than that, it pretty much is just, half of it is just recapping the first film again, and the other half is just generic little brother goes psycho, and even then he doesn't even don the Santa suit until the very end. But so yeah, 3, 4, and 5 I didn't even bother watching. I was like, I keep hearing bad things about those, and I'm like, my time is worth more than that. Although I did see the Silent Night remake because these guys have pretty much been sucking its dick constantly, and what a piece of shit that was. I'm sorry, I did not like the 2012 remake. I did not like that one at all. I'm Zach, Devin, and in all on it, like, I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I'm glad you guys enjoy it so much. So I was joking when I was saying, but I just could not get into it. The characters sucked. The acting sucked. The only thing cool about it were the kills. But that's about it. It didn't do anything for me. So I'm sorry. I'm glad that Zach and Devin liked it. Not a fan. But so for my expectations after seeing all that, I was at least a little bit more curious about it. I don't have a hate boner for Rowan Campbell. Like I don't know if I'm pointing the right way because I'm trying to do mirrored. Am I pointing the right way? Okay. All right. Just making sure. Because I don't have a hate boner for him like that guy claims. Because even though I hated Halloween Ends and I hated the character of Corey, I didn't hate the actor, He did his job. It's not his fault the character was so poorly written. So, and I will say that I did like him in The Monkey. So even if his role was very small. So, that's pretty much all I got. So,
So for me, I have not seen any of the sequels. I have only seen the movies, the originals and the remakes. That's all. Obviously, I saw the remake because I'm doing the review right now. But so I pretty much heard in terms of like the original Night, Deadly Night. Oh, it's kind of schlocky crap. Not really all that great. It's just it received controversy for the time, but it didn't amount to anything. And I'm like, okay, I'm still curious. Just want to see it. And I surprisingly loved it. I am very different from Devin. I understand your qualms. I get it because I'm kind of the same way when it comes to certain things. But for some reason, Silent Night, Deadly Night, I liked that we did get like so much with this character because I think the reason it worked for me personally was because he's the protagonist. He's not Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger. He's not the villain. He's not the antagonist. The fact that he's the protagonist, I think learning so much about him worked for me. Maybe there was a little bit too much, but I liked how we got inside his head, and I feel like there was a lot of intrigue and it did have a lot to say, especially for the time, especially for a slasher movie about mental health issues and child abuse. That's saying a lot. I feel like that's quite interesting with what they did. Does it execute every idea flawlessly? No, I don't think so. But I still feel like it's like kind of an even balance. Um, um, correct. I think it had an even balance of like the intrigue of this killer and the kills. We got like good schlocky slasher stuff, but like Billy's intrigue was there, and I really liked his character. Um, so I ended up really loving it, and then Devin's like, "Oh, this remake is even better." So I'm like, "Okay, let me check out the remake." And I agree with Rob. I did not care for it that much. Sorry, I think what it was trying to do is like have its cake and eat it too, where it was like, okay, we're not gonna have the guy explained this time around, but then they do it at the very end anyway. So it's like you should have picked either one. I think it should have just been either this guy was a mystery or you explain everything like the original. I feel like it was like trying to do both and it didn't work for me. Also, it looked really the fact that Silent Night was like almost $4 million. That was the budget, and I was shocked because I'm like, this thing looks like it. The budget was $10 in his ham sandwich. The kills were fine, as Rob mentioned. Malcolm McDowell is pretty much doing his shitty Loomis in like from the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. And that's kind of it. I like the main girl. I thought she was fine. Kills are okay, but the rest of it, it's just cheap, like bargain bin crap to me. Like I can kind of see what they were trying to do. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not the worst like horror remake of all time, but it's not good. I don't think it's very good. And I was like, whatever. So when this came out, I was like, okay, I like Rowan Campbell because I don't suck at stick as much as this guy does, but I do like Halloween Ends. I think it had a lot of really good ideas. They just kind of fell by the wayside in a lot. Weren't executed as well as they should have been. And yeah, so I don't hate Rowan Campbell. I thought it was like an intriguing idea. It looked like that they were doing a little bit from the original, but doing its own thing. And we'll get into that soon. But my expectations were like, for the most part, optimistic. I thought, oh, he's doing his Skinamarink impression. So I was for the most part optimistic. I was a little bit cautious because I was worried it was going to fall into the Silent Night vibes. But as a great man once said, finally, some good fucking food, because this was pretty damn good. So we'll get into that further, but those are my expectations and thoughts on the original film. A little bit too long. I apologize. I tend to over-explain things. Apologies. Anyway, let us
Yeah,
Mm.
move on.
John.
And also, going along with the theme of Christmas and Santa, I
The
have
beams!
some Christmas Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Where's your Dr. Pepper?
I don't have Dr.
Great.
Pepper.
Devin, I thought you were on Team Dr. Pepper.
I wanted to keep it festive.
Graveyard
Fuck
Billy
Coca-Cola.
Wash.
They use AI in their ads. They can go eat some dick.
So, are you saying you're a Pepsi guy?
No, I'm not really a big cola guy. I don't really like cola that much. I never got into regular Coke, never got into regular Pepsi. Dr. Pepper is where it's at. I don't have a Dr. Pepper. The only thing I have with me are seltzer, brisk, and Hawaiian punch. But I'm not thirsty right now, so maybe later.
Graveyard Billy Wash.
I don't even fucking know what that is. It looks like fucking swamp water.
Graveyards.
What? I don't know. What are you talking about?
Graveyard
Mixing all
water?
the flavors, bub.
Gotta mix the flavors. Gotta mix like the penguin. Gotta mix the
When
flavors.
he said graveyard water, it makes him sound like he actually went to a graveyard after it rained and just filled it up with water.
Love my Graveyard Billy Wash. All right, so I'm just gonna say it right now. I highly enjoyed this remake. It's close to being better than the original, but we'll get into it. So, the positives.
There we
I
go.
really liked the slow build to this movie's version of why Billy kills, what's the context for the voice in his head. And I liked how they switched things around because in the original, all the stuff that happened before he became a killer of trying to integrate into society, get a job, hold a job, all that. I like how this remake twisted that on its head, and he's already a killer, but he's moved somewhere and he's trying to get a job, meets a girl, all that. I like how they twisted all that. They kept the same ingredients, but they switched the timeline of it. It kept the mystery up, and it really left me wondering where it was going to go next. I legit did not know where things were going to go from there. And uh, right off the bat, I liked the chemistry between him and Pamela. It reminded me very much of the chemistry that him and Annie Matichak had in Halloween Ends. It's not derivative of that same chemistry, but I got that same vibe. Hell, that chick when I first saw her on screen, I I actually thought that was Andy Matichak. I was like, oh shit, did they cast her in this movie? And I just didn't know about it. But regardless, I liked their chemistry, and I don't know what anyone else thinks about this element, but I like that she was in on the ride towards the end. Also, I like that she was actually all for, like, yeah, you're a killer. All right, give me that dick. But yeah, because she has her creepy ex stalking her and all that, and there's all comment of Billy's all, should I tell her who I really am and all that, and you think that that's what's gonna set him off. Oh, he's gonna kill her, he's gonna kill the douchey ex, and then just go on. That's where he thought it was gonna go, but no, what we got was even better. So that's my general that's generally what I liked the most, was how it twisted the main ideas of the original on its head while still doing them at the same time, if that makes any sense. So, oh, and the kills were really good. I thought the film had a really good balance between gore and leaving it to your imagination. So yeah. Oh, all right, Devin.
I would say the positives for me are, I do think this is better than the original. And for one, because I felt, even though like Billy, just like the original, he is our protagonist, or our anti-hero, they kind of made him a little bit more interesting here. And I also appreciate how you see like his backstory like kind of like spread like throughout. It's not just here's all of his backstory and then boom, he's killing. Because that was my problem. That was my big problem with the original. Sure, you can have like a little backstory, but in the original, there was just too much of it. I'm glad they didn't do that here. I thought Rowan Campbell, I really liked this version of the character. I liked the idea of him having a voice in his head, and that the person that killed his parents is like his best friend, his guide. I thought that was a neat spin, and I loved like their back and forth. It's basically what the back and forth between Venom and Eddie in the Venom movies was trying to be, but it's not super cringy and stupid. I liked his chemistry and his relationship with Pam. The kills are fucking brutal and badass. I loved easily the best kill in the movie is when he fucking goes in and kills all the Nazis. Because anything involving Nazis dying, perfection. I liked how when is revealed how the killer like got into Billy's head, it was kind of like child's play. Like when Charles Lee, right, when Chucky put his soul to the doll, or like when a doctor regenerates. I thought that was actually kind of awesome and clever, and how they leaned more towards the supernatural instead of just keeping it grounded. I'm trying to think what else. Cinematography looked good. I really liked all like the references and the Easter eggs. Like hearing him say, "Agnes, it's me, Billy." And when he was in the restaurant, he says, "Billy, it's garbage day." That made me laugh out loud. And this did what I like about the remakes I like is it takes the concept of the original and it does its own thing with it, and we don't get a carbon copy. This is why I praise the Fly. This is why I gave praise to The Thing. This is why
Night of the Living
this is
Dead.
yeah, sure. And it's why I like the remake of Suspiria. I know
I
that's
don't
probably
prefer it, but I know you like the remake of The Evil Dead.
I do. Those Robert Eggers Nosferatu, same deal. It was just a mentally damaged guy. Kills naughty people dressed up like Santa. It takes that concept, does its own thing. And that's what I like. That's what I appreciate with any good remake. And so I give them all the props for that. There's any more positives, I'm sure I'll think of more, but those are some like my main ones.
Robbie boy.
All right. So the positives, I'll say like Rowan Campbell, he does a great job. So this proves that, just like I said before, I didn't have a hate boner for the guy like Zach claimed. But and this movie proves it. I do really like him in this one. He was a lot of fun. I love how he was pretty much this kind of like in the original. He was like a tortured soul. Although I also like the idea of how he was sharing the body with the guy who killed his parents because spoiler, they did something naughty. And he was tasked to punish naughty people. It's like, I do like that. It's just like it reminded me again with like what Devin said. It reminded me of the Venom movies, although not as bad, nowhere near as terrible as those. But that's beside the point. I do like the chemistry between Rowan Campbell and the what's the chick? I forgot her name. The coworker. I forgot her name.
Pam?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay.
Pammy.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do like that. I do. The kills are honestly just so much fun. Like how could you pretty much not have fun with a guy dressed up as Santa Claus slaughtering Nazis? The only thing missing is Brad Pitt. We needed Brad Pitt in this movie, damn it, killing Nazis. But in
I
all
think
honesty,
I just made my masterpiece.
Preach.
But that was so much fun, and I'll even say that I don't know if I'm going to be on an island for this, but I honestly didn't mind a lot of the transitions, the over the top transitions that happened with it saying kill this person, kill that person, because it honestly, no joke,
I really like that too.
it reminded me so much of something out of a Quentin Tarantino movie. It reminded me
But
so
less
much
feet,
of that.
thank God.
Yes,
And
yes, but
a lot of the
thankfully,
font in the movie with the titles and all that looked like Quentin Tarantino movie font.
I couldn't appreciate the titles as much as you guys because all of them were in German for me. But it kind of it's
It was
Christmas is like kinda
basically
German.
it was
Nintendo
basically
was
basically
like,
kill this. Like
Yeah,
kill.
no, I
whatever.
looked. I was like Google translating. I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I could like gather from it, but yeah, they were all in German for me.
But that was, I will admit, that just was so much fun, and like I said, it reminded me so much of like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like I said, the kills were so much fun. It shot well. I do like the score. And I do, and one thing I will definitely agree with Devin is the fact that I'm so glad that they were trying to do something new with this material. If there's one thing I really hate in remakes, it's just making the exact same movie as the original. Because why are you even doing this in the first place? You might as well just re-release the original movie. I think I really like those ideas. So I'm glad that they didn't pretty much just have Billy being in the orphanage and just hadn't got where he just got beat the shit out of from nuns. I'm glad that they didn't just do that carbon copy again. So they did something new. They added like a supernatural element to it. So I really like that. So again, if I think any more positives, maybe I'll bring it up. So yeah.
All right, John, my man, it's your dime.
So for me, this is I had to take my hat off because my head was like on fire. So I was like, all right, I'll keep it like right here so you can see it, but my head was too hot. So for me, I thought all the acting was really good. Like surprisingly really good. I mean, again, I don't hate Rowan Campbell. I thought he did a good job here. A lot of it was on him, so he created a protagonist that you don't like love but you don't hate, and I feel like he treaded that line very well, kind of like villain into anti-hero kind of vibes. I didn't like Pam at first, but then she kind of like, she kind of grows on you a little bit. I liked the kid actors were pretty good, mainly the brother character. He was probably the biggest one, but for the most part, all of them were good. And I thought the dad was good. I recognized him from stuff. I liked Charlie. I thought he had a perfect voice. I'm like, who the fuck is that voice? And I'm like, oh, it's the guy from Elf. I gotta get out of the flow. Anyway. But I liked him. I thought it was just overall I liked the kills, I liked the gore, I liked the transitions. It gave it a bit more of like its own unique vision. And I think it worked wonderfully well. Like, gave again that like kind of vision. I like the overall story. I like, again, it has the skeleton is there, but the meat is different, if that makes sense. Like for Silent Night, there was pretty much nothing from the original except, oh hey, it's a killer Santa killing people. It's like, all right, okay, cool. Here it's like the skeleton of like a guy named Billy Chapman is, going around dressed up in a Santa costume, killing people while working in a stockroom. Like that's like the bare bones are there, and like he's kind of a relatable character. um so the skeleton was there, but like the way they present it was different. I liked how he had this relationship with Pam. Santa costumes just make her hot. Guys, for anybody who's having trouble finding a lady out there, just dressed up as Santa Claus, kill a bunch of Nazis, and the pussy will just keep rolling in. Apparently, so just keep that in mind. Um, but the kills were good, and the overall story, I like how it kept the same vibe of the characters of the original, but it did its own thing. That's again what Devin was saying. That's what made it work so well for me. Do I prefer the original? Yes. Again, I like how the more linear story you're telling. However, I liked the flashbacks, like that are dream sequences. I liked how, I liked the whole like twist that it was like child's play, where it was like he possessed him and now he's like this guy in his head, and he is this voice that's like telling him to kill, but he genuinely, he's like kind of like Dexter in a way, but like Dexter in a Santa costume and way more brutal. But he, not Dexter's Lab, as in Dexter as in Michael C. Hall Dexter for anybody confused.
Yep, I like
Um,
Dexter a lot. It's a good show.
but yeah, so it's kind of like that, and the whole like naughty, nice, oh naughty, and then like, but like that works because they are naughty people, they are bad people, so like it's not just like him deeming them naughty because reasons, which I think that's a improvement on the original. And I liked I liked how it built upon itself. I really liked, just like it's not gonna break new ground, it's not gonna reinvent the wheel. What does it manage to do? It creates an interesting Christmas slasher that does its own thing from the original and gives us a good time. And that's what it did. Like I do have like a couple mixed things, but not really a whole ton. It's mostly like I just can't think of anything else to really say about it because it's so simplistic, but not in a bad way. It's not bad in its simplicity. Some of the best movies are simplistic. So, I think overall it did what it managed to do, and I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I guess we move on.
All right, moving on to the mixed, and I do have a big one. Uh, at the risk of sounding ignorant, because I understand what the ending was going for, but I would have really liked to see Billy live at the end, and the and any sequels we get could have had like a real Bonnie and Clyde type vibe going with her kind of at his side and all that. I think there's kind of a missed opportunity there. I think that could have been really cool because I think back to one of the alternate endings to Halloween Ends that they had thought of, and one of them be that Corey lives entirely. Allison goes off with him, fully aware that he's a killer, and the ending would imply that they're off on their own little Bonnie and Clyde type thing. It wouldn't have been good as an ending for that film, obviously, but I think you apply that kind of ending here, and I would have really liked that, depending on execution. The ending's not bad here. It's properly built up to with the voices, the transference, and all that, but I don't know. I just part of me is curious more so to what that kind of ending could have been, but I'm still curious now with Pam now being the new killer technically. I do like that I do like, by the way, that she's the one who killed her own ex. That I think that was whether that was what they were going for or not, that was a neat subversion of expectation because the dude who rapes the woman that Billy likes in the original, he's the one to kill him. So that was neat. And plus, I don't know if you noticed, but she bit his nose off, which is a callback to something she had said earlier. Oh, this guy was pissing me off. I nearly bit his nose off. Nice. But regardless, I like the ending we got, but I will always be eternally curious as to what we could have gotten. But that's just me.
So if I have anything mixed to say, I don't know if this sounds weird. Am I the only one that found the subplot with the other serial killer to be kind of unnecessary?
Nah, they
What it
alluded to it at least.
became, I can kind of agree, but like I can see what it's going for.
I don't know, because do we need two killer Santas?
It seemed
It's a sludge film
I
starring
mean
Roland Campbell. Would you expect anything less?
I don't know. I don't know. I just found that whole subplot to be kind of unneeded. Yeah, I think if you I don't know why they had to give like another killer or another villain for Billy to kill.
I liked it because of how it developed him and Pam's relationship and all that, and it shows her dark side.
Fair enough, but I don't know. I felt that subplot was just kind of unnecessary because I know we had because I mean the original we technically had a villain. Yeah, we had the mother superior. So
Oh
were they
yeah, where
trying to
the
do it
fuck
like
was
that?
she in this?
I mean the original did prove a point. Nuns fucking suck. They are evil pieces of shit that use their religion as an excuse to do shitty things to kids. Just like Catholics.
They're pretty. They're pretty much. They're pretty much Judge Frollo with boobs.
'Tis my duty.
Pretty much.
And less horny. Because Judge Frollo, that dude was fucking horny as
Yeah,
fuck.
that is true.
But he's like,
Less horny.
Catholicism, it can't make me
Tall,
horny,
dark, and
but
horny
I'm
at 12
horny. What do I
o'clock.
do?
I couldn't be the only one thinking that.
But yeah, I guess that's like my big mixed aspect. I don't know if I have like any like super duper negatives. I guess you would count it as that. But hey, that's just me. I was definitely curious on your guys' stance on that.
Honestly, I was going to say, to be honest with you, Devin, I was honestly going to kind of say the same thing. I did find that subplot to be pretty much unneeded, especially seeing how this is already a movie about a guy who goes on a killing spree wearing a Santa Claus costume. I don't see why they had to add that in. So, but that's because I was on, like I said, I was going to say the same thing. So it's just, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of mix or negative. That is practically the main one, and then I guess the fact that it probably tried to stay. Maybe it was a little. It did become a little too simplistic at times. Maybe the pacing could have been better. So, but I don't really have too many mixed or negative. So, I mean, I think those pretty much would be like the only one. Maybe, like I said, maybe it could have been paced a little bit better. Maybe it and maybe it was a little too simplistic at times. But I mean, but then again, it's a movie about a killer Santa. So what you see is what you get. So I'll let John take over.
Yeah, for me, the only thing that was a problem, honestly, more of a nitpick is, yeah, it could have been paced a little bit better, even though it was only like 90 minutes. It felt a bit longer than that. Like it was sometimes there was like maybe a cringy scene that was hard to get through at points. Some of the stuff with Charlie can be seen as kind of cringy a little bit. But for the most part, I don't have any problems with it. Like pacing, a few cringy scenes. That's kind of it. Like, can't really think of anything else that's problematic. Definitely don't have any negatives, but that's about it.
Oh, I got a negative. Where the fuck was Mother Superior? I want to see that bitch get hers in this version and get it brutal.
I mean, that's what the foster mom was for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't get me wrong. The way he killed the foster mom was fucking awesome and all that, but
yeah,
come on,
another homage.
Give us what we want this time.
Honestly, I don't mind the fact that Mother.
Come on, give us what we want this time.
Okay,
let us see Mother Superior die.
I will say this: I don't mind that Mother Superior was not in the movie because this is something more. I appreciate the fact that it was more trying to do more of its own thing with the material in the original. Because if you added Mother Superior, it probably would have be seen as like forced and trying too hard to be like the original.
And nobody is really
so
in.
I would rather it try to do something.
No, you go.
No, you can go on. You can go on.
And the thing is, nobody's really in like Christian foster homes anymore, or whatever whatever the fuck it was.
Do orphanages even exist? Because I mean,
No,
now
they
we
still
have.
do. It's just I don't think there's a lot of like Christian specific ones
Yeah.
anymore.
Because I know.
So
Because all I
feel
know
like
is
that
that. Oh, sorry,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Because
No,
I
yeah,
know,
I just feel
like,
like that
it
makes sense.
seems like any kid, pretty much they would be put in some kind of fostering system. So, and that's why we get the foster parents in this one. But I don't know. But I just don't think it's needed to have Mother Superior in it. I get what you're saying, Zach, that you pretty much want to see the bitch die. I get it, but
We never got
it
that in the
doesn't need
original
to.
movie.
It doesn't need to be exact. It doesn't need to be like beat by beat, like the original. Otherwise, if you do too much, do too much beat by beat, you might as well get the Psycho remake, a shot for shot remake that
Oh,
didn't
I
even
agree, but
needed
come
to
on.
exist.
Because we never got that in the original film, and even when we did in the sequel, it was a fucking cutaway. Fuck that shit. I want to see this bitch lose her head on screen.
I mean,
But that
even
scene
though
was
she's not, yeah, because maybe though, yeah, it's not Mother Superior. We did see an abuser,
yeah,
an
and
abusive woman
that's what I'm
get
saying.
killed, and
That scene was fucking awesome. Still.
nice rack.
Oh dang it! I was gonna do the belly. Don't say it. Don't you say it. Nice rack.
I also like. I just realized this, but I don't know if you guys mentioned it already, but I like how when he was like in the shop for the first time, he was holding the crystal unicorn that was used to kill Margot Kidder in the original Black Christmas.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just realized that. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, oh, because I was like thinking about it because when you said there was another reference, I was like, what was the other reference? And then I'm like, and then I was like going back, and then I remember the crystal unicorn. It wasn't the same one; it was much smaller. But I'm like, hey, you could tell that these guys love the material, love Christmas horror flicks. So you know, take advantage of the fact that not one but two Christmas slashers have a killer named Billy. So you know, if I had a nickel,
I'm just gonna. Oh, sorry.
We're
Go on.
good. So, but that's pretty much
Yes.
my only negative. And even then, when I say negative, more as a joke, really, like, because the scene we did get was fucking awesome, but come on. That's some fan service you could have gotten away with. Split her fucking head off. But regardless, other than that, I don't have any like actual substantial negatives with this movie. Anyone else?
yeah, I don't have any negatives with this.
Me
No.
either.
Neither do I.
Oh shit. Nope, not there. Alrighty. Then we will get to our final thoughts and grades. I thought this remake was great. As far as remakes like this that genuinely do something different with the source material, like Night of the Living Dead, The Blob, The Fly, etc., I'd say this is one of the better ones we've gotten. It takes the source material, respects it in all the ways that it needs to, but updates it and does something new in all the ways that it needs to. I was invested the entire way through. I thought the performances were great, the kills were great, and the slight on Nazis was fucking incredible. So, if we do get sequels out of this, while I'm eternally curious as to the ending we could have gotten, I am nonetheless invested in the ending we did get. Pam is an interesting enough character to follow, I think, though Billy will be missed. So I will give this a solid 8.5. I thought this was awesome.
So overall, like I said, I thought this was better than the original. This definitely improved on the issues I had with that movie. I can see this being a horror movie I'll watch around like next Christmas. It is, it is a lot of, it's a lot of fun. It is, the carnage is great. Acting is all around solid. It's a fun Christmas slasher. And it's nice to have one of those again because last year we had Terrifier 3. And now we have this.
Same studio, by the way, which is awesome.
Yeah, both are Screenbox. But yeah, I really liked it. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
All right, so as a newbie when it comes to this franchise, I will say this is easily my favorite, probably the best of all of these Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. You know, yes, I do prefer this more than the original. So as much as I have fun with the original, I just think that this pretty much does so much more, so much better. You know, I love this is a movie that while I can't see this, while it's not on the level of Black Christmas as like horror Christmas masterpieces, you know, while I can't put it on that pedestal, I would say that this was a fun time, and this is one that I probably, if I had to ever rewatch any Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, I probably would say that I would prefer this more than any of the others. So, and with that, I'll go ahead and give it an 8.5 out of 10.
So for me, as I said, pretty much it does everything right in terms of what a remake should do. I think all the acting was good. I think all the kills were good. The story was good. Um, and what it does differently from the original is usually for the better. But overall, I still like the original more. Um, I like the overall vibe of the original more and the build up and all that, but still what this does is really good. It does a lot of things different, a lot of things I liked. And yeah, I thought it was a really fun time outside of the pacing, which was a little awkward at points and maybe some cringy scenes here and there. I think it's great. I think it's an 8.5 out of 10. Good times had by all and goodwill towards men.
Man,
Man,
And Catwomen. I may have saved the mayor's baby, but I refuse to save a mayor who let Gotham be ravaged by a disease.
another great Christmas movie.
I love it. So, since our next host is not here, I will leave it to y'all to announce the next review.
So our next review, our names are Blue. Abadi da ba da 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 ba dee da ba da.
do da ba dee da ba dee da ba da da ba dee da ba dee da da da.
That means our next review will be Avatar Fire and Ash. And that will be hosted by Marky Mark.
And everything changed when the Fire Navi attacked.
Please be something different. Please.
That's my biggest
Yeah.
concern is that it's just going to be the structure of Way of Water again. They're on the run. They're trying to find a new tribe to hide with, but yeah, we'll see. But until next time, we will see you then.
Once again, we have brought light into the world. You're welcome, America.
And Merry Christmas!
Garbage Day!
God bless us, everyone.